Hold on.
She gonna sing it.
West Philadelphia, born and raised. On the playground is where I spend most of my days.
Okay.
Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool and all. Shooting some b-ball outside of school. When a couple of guys, they were up to no good. Started making trouble in my neighborhood. I got in one little fight.
I am having the blackest week ever.
No. We are not doing this. Noted hate watch Candace Owens just lost her gig over at the Daily Wire. And I can't celebrate that because the Daily Wire is led by Ben Shapiro. And quite frankly, every day without Ben Shapiro is a good day. It's actually on my daily checklist. The other reason I can't celebrate it is because I think she actually did say some pretty legitimate things on restrictions placed on journalists, especially in mainstream media, on how they discuss the Middle East that led directly to her downfall. Of course, that was after she staked her reputation that the French First Lady was a man. So can't say all gambles are good ones. But I'm here to talk about this.
Hold on.
She gonna sing it.
West Philadelphia, born and raised. On the playground is where I spend most of my days.
Okay.
Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool and all. Shooting some b-ball outside of school. When a couple of guys, they were up to no good. Started making trouble in my neighborhood. I got in one little fight.
And this.
I am having the blackest week ever.
Nope. We're not doing this. I'm not going. And looking for her next grift, Owens is starting down a well-worn path previously travailed by the likes of Omarosa and Stacey Dash.
She got with Trump because of money. She sold her soul, and now she's trying to sell him down the river. And, she's trying to make money for her book. Everything's very calculated with Omarosa, but she could be the one thing that brings him down.
I've lived my life being angry. Which was what I was on Fox News. I was the angry, conservative black woman.
So you want to drag black people for profit, and then when the money dries up, just send us the "Hey Big Head" text to see if it's cool to come over. You know what? Not my crib. Coincidentally, you picked the right platforms, places that will be happy to platform you and unable or unwilling to break you down. You texted the dudes you knew would have the door unlocked because they always got the door unlocked. Well played. But Roland Martin is still waiting for you to accept his challenge to come on his show. Now, I would say I'm disappointed these outlets platformed her nonsense, but then look at what else they platform. 9 out of my 10 favorite Breakfast Club moments involve a threat to lay on hands.
This broke I swear to God.
Now, Ray J, just one question though.
When I hit Slay, he ain't gonna be able to even stay in his own town because I got some goons out there that's gonna get him too.
All right, Ray J, but let me ask you something. You know that Fab jokes around on Twitter all the time.
That nigga.
These are not places for nuanced political discussions, and that's why she goes there. She's ducking real smoke like Sean O'Malley. Yeah, you never heard of Sean O'Malley? Yeah, okay, that's actually good. That was a test to see how many of you guys still watch the UFC after they platformed Donald Trump's tiny hands at every big card. Well, at least his grandson is getting some good memories. But are y'all really about to let Candace Owens back in the cookout? I want to get way out ahead of this, like extensions level out ahead of this. Now, I would never be the arbiter of somebody else's blackness because I reject anybody's attempt to be the arbiter of mine, but a few things I want y'all to consider. First, didn't you make a documentary to exonerate Derek Chauvin and in it demonize George Floyd as if Chauvin was carrying out some kind of sentence? Because that has to be it, right? Because otherwise, what relevance did any of it have? But then you double down on the nonsense on your podcast, threatening to sue George Floyd's family, saying I have grounds to sue George Floyd's family for doing this little PR stunt. Now, this all goes back to Kanye spreading lies from your documentary about George Floyd's death and his family having to send a cease and desist letter, exactly how they want to spend their time. You called it a PR stunt. A PR for what? They got an album coming out? Are they dropping a shoe line? You know what? Never mind. Don't answer that. I got I got way more. Speaking of Kanye, wasn't this you with the White Lives Matter shirt on? Yeah, that was cute. And no, it wasn't done ironically, as we would react to that now. This was back when the All Lives Matter crowd was active, but you just had to take it that whole extra step. Like when denouncing Juneteenth, that wasn't enough for you to call out Juneteenth. You had to call it, quote, so ghetto, because you know your crowd just loves to call us ghetto. But look, I'm doing it. Pick me. Here's another doozy. Black Lives Matter supports criminals. #Blexit supports police officers. We're working on building out a fund that will go live tomorrow for officers that are unjustly terminated. Can somebody please give me the name of the officer that was fired for the #Rayshard Brooks incident? A fund for officers unjustly terminated. You know, for those who just slipped through the cracks of qualified immunity and the blind blue wall of both silence and union support. You know, the thing that's most likely to get you unjustly terminated from the police force? Turning in a fellow officer. That is the thing most likely to get you unjustly terminated from the police force. By the way, how did that whole #Blexit thing work out for you? Hopefully better than that anti-woke bank that you endorsed. It was Glorify, wasn't it? Glorify, where CEO Toby Negbauer, and he really should have stuck with Kunta, wanted to offer home insurance discounts to gun owners, credit cards made of shell casing material, and legal bill assistance if customers shot someone in self-defense. Yeah, because that's what everybody wants from their bank. Militarism. That was you, right? That was you, right? Free to celebrate your love of God and country without fear of cancellation. That was the tagline, right? But it looks like that website is gone 404. Cancellation won again. Just like that Alabama GoFundMe you touted for the Birmingham cafe owner who wanted to charge a protest tax after George Floyd, who he called a thug. But to be fair, he did say he didn't deserve to die. So there's that, which then begs the question, why isn't that the whole point? Why isn't that the whole point? What does him being a thug have to do with anything if he didn't deserve to die? But I suppose that's too obvious a point. You know what? While we're being fair, I wouldn't hold you personally responsible for the mass shooting in Christchurch, New Zealand, which cost over 50 people their lives, despite that the perpetrator mentioned you in his manifesto, stating, quote, the person that has influenced me above all was Candace Owens. However, didn't you turn around and blame LeBron and Black Lives Matter for the shooting of LA sheriff's deputies? In fact, you specifically referenced a tweet where LeBron denounced the killing of Ahmaud Arbery, saying, why does this happen? Because pea-brain celebrities that are idolized, like King James, tell young black men that they are literally being hunted. This is the natural result of such hyperbolic, dishonest rhetoric. The racist, anti-police, Black Lives Matter lie is to blame. So which is it? I mean, you can't have it both ways, you know, like marrying into low-level British nobility, then denouncing Harry and Meghan as overprivileged while they're on a philanthropic trip to Africa. You know, the royals, all of the levels above your husband who renounce their titles. So they must be just overprivileged by virtue of their mere association with the crown. So what does that make you? And what did you renounce? What did you bring to Africa other than shame? Do you even have a title or they just call you Mammy? It sounds to me like somebody can't handle the female lead from Suits outranking her. I know. It's not actually about the title. It's about the melanin. You would never talk spicy about Kate Middleton. Wow. Meghan Markle made it to Buckingham Palace without any of the groveling, bootlicking, and her edges intact. She must be a witch, right? And didn't you take your behind to Congress as the face denouncing white nationalism, saying you wouldn't even rank it in your top 100 issues, and the real issue is black on black crime and a lack of masculinity in men? Wow, so creative, this one. So we got so far into the sunken place with you, when I saw that, I just moved on. It wasn't even notable to me that a black woman was being used to defend and deflect from white nationalism because that someone was you. But apparently Richard Spencer and Steve Bannon didn't get their money's worth because they trotted you back out there to claim the Southern strategy wasn't a thing. You know, the GOP campaign strategy to increase support from white Southern voters by subtly endorsing racial segregation, discrimination, and the disenfranchisement of black voters, which, quite frankly, sounds a lot like 2024 election materials. I'll be honest. I think I saw that on a commercial. I'm just playing. Y'all know Trump can't afford commercials. You tried to convince us that this whole thing never happened.
Over and over again about black conservatives when they have the audacity to think for themselves and become educated about our history and the myth of things like the Southern switch and the Southern strategy, which never happened.
Despite the fact that Reagan White House operative Lee Atwater admitted to all of it way back in 1981. And here we have the perfect distillation of Candace Owens. If we can't admit to something that happened 60 years ago, that was admitted to 40 years ago, and still continues today, your grift is exposed for all the world to see. Most people would be ashamed to go on. But nevertheless, you persisted. You chased every dollar they had to give to cover their anti-blackness. But finally, the financial future of the fraud looks a lot like, well, glorify. And you want to dip your toe back in black water. Well, I know you struggle with the lyrics to Good Times. That was understandable. You got to grow up in a black home to know that one. But here's one you may know, being the smooth criminal that you are. We told you, don't you ever come around here. Don't want to see your face. You better disappear. Self-hatred's in her eyes and her words are really clear. So beat it. Just beat it. You better run, you better do what you can. Don't want to see no blood, don't be no macho man. You want to be tough, better do what you can. So beat it. But you want to be bad, always beat it. Always beat it.